What's going on, Nerd Army? It's time, guys, once again for another review. Now, guys, this is going to be my review for the newest episode of The Flash, titled Running to Stand Still. This episode was really cool. It was actually a great winter finale for The Flash. I really enjoyed this. This was a great episode. A lot of really awesome things happened. So let's go over some of my favorite things. So first off, Harrison Wells is being chased down at the very first part of this episode by Zoom. Zoom catches him. Harrison Wells basically gets caught by Zoom by the neck, and he's begging for Jesse's life. He's begging for his daughter's life, saying, like, just don't hurt her, don't hurt her. Zoom puts him down with his hand still around his throat and says, "Merry Christmas." So this was something that was really crazy in the episode. To me, it just caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. But that Merry Christmas crack really meant because Zoom actually is working with Harrison Wells to steal Barry's speed. So he's telling him, like, I'm going to kill your daughter unless you help me steal his speed. If you do, then boom, your daughter will be fine and you can have her back. So Harrison Wells is kind of like uptight and just stiff the whole time, and like that's one thing that he does so well in this episode is he's just like, you see it on his face. You just see the expression that no, why did anything be wrong? I'm just like, oh shit. I mean, you really do see it on his face. And that's something I really like, and Tom Cavanaugh just destroys it. He's always spot on with Harrison Wells. Love that guy in this character. And then we really get to the point where at the very end he's like, yes, I will help you steal Barry Allen's speed. I will help you steal this Flash's speed. So basically he wants him to plump him up like a Thanksgiving turkey so he can have at it and get his speed all built up, super strong. That's why he keeps sending all these metahumans at him. So that way he can plump him up and then take his speed when he's like maxed out. Because that's what he's doing. He's absorbing speed. He took Jay's speed. So I'm excited the way they're doing this. The way they're doing Zoom is so freaking dope. I'm so into it. Another great part of this episode is Iris breaks down and tells Barry, like, I can't hold it back anymore. My mom, when she left us, she was pregnant. And so Barry's like, you don't have to do this by yourself. I'll help you tell your dad. And so he goes and sits down with her, and they go and they drop the bomb on Joe. Joe just kind of breaks down a little bit and, like, I just need to sit on this. I need to let this, like, sink in, so just leave me alone. And, like, kind of gets out of there. And it's understandable, man. You just told this dude he has a child, and he is such, like, a dedicated family man, and he loves his children, Barry and Iris, that this shit, like, destroys him at first. So Joe thinks on it for a while. He has a nice long talk with Barry about it, and he tells him, like, here, take this, and he gives him a watch that his father gave him when he was a kid. And he said that his father's intentions were more, like, kind of mean about it and just trying to be kind of a dick about it, but his were he really kept it in his whole life. He doesn't know why, but then later in the episode he decides to give it to Barry. He said, I always said that I would give this to my son one day, and I just did. And he puts it on Barry's wrist, and I'm like, man, that was a really touching moment right there. Joe really let in there, even though he has a son. He considers Barry his son, which is great. Speaking of his son, we get the big Wally West reveal in this episode. He comes to Christmas dinner, and boom, everybody is there, and the whole fucking room freezes. And speaking of the room freezing, while they're having that Christmas party with everybody there, Jay's there. Yeah, Jay and Caitlin's like struggling to hang the mistletoe, like jumping. Jay walks over, I'm like, oh shit. It's going down right now. And Jay's like pretending not to know what mistletoe is and what the tradition is. And he's like, well, yeah, we have mistletoe too. And she's like, oh. And he's like, we also have this tradition. And she like looks at him and goes in for the kiss. We get the Jay and Caitlin kiss. So I'm really excited about that. That's really cool. That's something I'm really liking. I mean, Ronnie's death she took bad. But, I mean, hopefully we can see Ronnie come back. I'm not saying he's gone. But if he is, I mean, it would be cool to have something to do with Jay, like, losing it for her to become Killer Frost. That would be cool. I mean, if she really put her trust into somebody again and gets destroyed, she could go cold and have an accident and then, Killer Frost! No, that's just my aspirations for Caitlyn. I want her to be Killer Frost. I'm sorry. I can't help it. So the main baddie for this episode is Weather Wizard. Weather Wizard goes to Iron Heights and breaks out the Trickster and also breaks out Captain Cold. Now he wants all of them to get together and team up and kill the Flash. So Captain Cold, he opts out. And at the first part of the episode, he tells Barry, these dudes are after you. He invited me to do it, and I'm not. I'm going to take a pass. And so he tries to get him to help him. No, he just blah, blah, blah. They're a little banter back and forth. Him and Snart always have that deep, witty banter. So these two are working together. They lead Barry and Patty into a warehouse. Like, Barry and Patty get there to inspect this warehouse where they think that the clue that they saw, this little bunny rabbit, that he had in the reflection of his eye. It was crazy. But they both get to this warehouse, and then a voice box comes on of the Trickster, and a bunch of dreidels come out that are made of C4, and so Barry can't run across them, so Barry's like, hold on to me, and she's like, I'm seeing somebody. He's like, me too. And then he just starts, like, tornadoing his hands and flies out of the building. That was cool. That was actually really awesome. But that was her. Even when that happened, she kind of breaks down and tells the Flash, like, how she feels and what's going on. And, yeah, it's Barry. I mean, she doesn't know. And I think the longer he waits to tell her, the worse it's going to be. The premiered little teaser shows him saying, I'm going to tell her, but is it a little bit too late? That's what I said. I'm like, fuck. So Patty and all this shit goes down, and turns out that Patty was supposed to take this deposit for her dad, and he ended up having to go in her place, and that's when he was killed by Weather Wizard, pre him getting his powers. So, yeah, she blames him. She wants to kill him, so she became a cop to legally be able to kill him. So Mark Hamill kills it in this episode as the Trickster, because he poses as Santa and starts handing out all these gifts. Hands out a bunch of gifts, 100 gifts to random children that live in random houses across Central City. And it turns out they're bombs. And he tells them, do not open it till tomorrow. Turns out they're all bombs. So what had actually happened is they tell Barry, like, basically, you stay here and you openly let me kill you in front of everyone in this public place with the cops and everyone around and reporters, or we set off those 100 bombs. And he's all, there's no way you could find them all. And it's true, he couldn't find them all. So Harrison Wells, Jay Garrick, and Cisco kind of put their heads together, and Jay Garrick and Harrison Wells figure something out. Cisco's like the dummy of the episode. He's like, what the hell? The fuck is going on? They go and they just got to find one bomb. So Cisco tracks it down to find one of the bombs out of the 100. And when he does, they get there and they actually use that bomb as like a magnet for all the other bombs. And they put it up on one of Cisco's little drones, takes it up in the air, and then boom, they just all blow up. They all get sucked up there like a magnet. It's crazy. It's so cool. So they took care of it, and he's all, Barry, the bombs are gone. So Barry just fucking Trickster wrapped around a pole with a bunch of Christmas lights. Fucking Weather Wizard on the floor getting drained, and then here comes Patty. He's like, Detective, glad you're here. And she shoots out this big old clamp gun that clamps onto Barry's fucking thigh, shoots bolts into the floor, and so Barry can't run. He's stuck. That shit's like grabbed on him. He's like, fuck. And she's like, gonna kill Weather Wizard. She's just gonna shoot this motherfucker in the middle of the face in front of all these witnesses. Patty, you're smarter than that. Jesus Christ, woman. Calm down. But all this shit's going down, and Barry has to talk Patty down from killing this fucking guy and going to prison. So she ends up flipping over and arresting him. And yeah, this fucking episode was kind of crazy. So guys, this was a really good episode. It was really developmentally great for Patty. Also, Patty and Barry, she's like basically tells Barry, like, Barry, I've been going through some stuff for the last few days. The whole thing with Weather Wizard is what she's talking about. But I've been going through these things for all these last few days, and I want to tell you about them. And I'm like, shit, she's going to tell him. That's cool. And so basically she's going to let him know everything that's been going on with her. And I think that's what's going to lead him to tell her that he's the Flash. So, guys, this episode was great. It was a lot of fun. It was really, really cool. Let me know what your guys' favorite part of this episode was down in the comments down below, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this review of The Flash Running to Stand Still. It was great. See you guys next time right here on Nerds and Mariahs for another review. Peace out. If you liked the video you just saw, make sure you rate it with that big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so you can check out all the other nerdy videos we have just like this one. Also, check out my Patreon account and become a patron if you'd like for access to exclusive content.